Go to Chairman of the full committee, Mr. Walberg from Michigan.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for this hearing, and thanks to an excellent committee for being here. Mr. Wolfson, 25 years ago, the Worker Economic Opportunity Act amended the Fair Labor Standards Act to exempt certain types of equity compensation, such as employee stock options, from inclusion in overtime regular rate calculations. While this law appropriately exempted many types of compensation, it did not exempt restricted share units and other full value share awards. How should restricted share units be treated when it comes to calculating overtime pay?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think that the concept that I would propose would be that any sort of compensation that is not based on you have to have worked this number of hours to get this amount of pay should not be calculated as part of an overtime calculation. And so ultimately, restricted stock options, those should all be included as items that we want to encourage employers to provide to their employees. And so including them as part of the overtime pay calculation reduces the likelihood that those employers are going to provide that to their employees. And so I think that we should treat it in the same way that we do a contribution to a pension plan or a contribution to a 401k, where we want to encourage employers to do this. And so we are not going to punish the employer when that worker then does overtime hours by making them figure out how much that's worth to a specific hour of time. We want to encourage those things. And so I think that that exemption should be much more broadly applied. Which
benefits, with that flexibility, the employee.
Absolutely.
In the long run, yeah.
Yes, it does.
Thank you. And welcome to your daughter as well. Ms. Bohan, community banks like the one you work for are an essential tool for small businesses to gain access to capital they sorely need. Yet federal regulations often make doing business more challenging for these banks. When an employee's classification is changed from exempt to non-exempt under FLSA, how does that affect payroll processes and other HR requirements for that employee?
Thank you. As I said in my oral testimony, some employees actually prefer an exemption because it comes with certain flexibility and benefits that are perceived by the employee. So when you're if an overtime threshold is changed and you're having to place an employee from exemption to non-exemption, it places a burden on the timekeeping system.
And also impacts the feelings of the employee himself or herself as well.
Absolutely. I think that's one thing that I've seen and felt in the past year. We've had to change employee exemptions, and sometimes the employee doesn't quite understand why the exemptions, in my experience, why the exemption's being taken away. They feel like a certain career progression has been taken away from them.
They've been downgraded.
I would agree with that.
Benefits are important, but also perception is important as well. Thank you. Ms. McCutcheon, in your written testimony, you mentioned that the FLSA should allow private sector employees to choose compensatory time or comp time, which is extra paid time off, work in lieu of receiving extra wages for overtime hours worked. Most government workers, let me state that again, most government workers are eligible to receive comp time. But FLSA prohibits the private sector from using comp time. Is this an oops? I love your technical term. How should a straightforward change like this benefit workers?
Well, this is an interesting one because unions and large employers actually have objected to the many comp time bills that have been proposed, but employees want it. They want more paid time off, and that's what you get with comp time. So this particular bill is something that benefits workers. So if you want to benefit workers, you have to allow them to choose cash or paid time off. And if you look at any of the Forbes or SHRM recent surveys about the types of benefits employees today are looking for, paid time off is high on the list.
That's the benefits of flexibility?
Absolutely.
It allows them to choose what they feel best about.
Right. They could work 4 days a week, and the prior week they might have to work 50 hours, and then the next week they can work 30. And that is the type of flexibility that employees really, really want today.
I'd love that for opening week of deer season. Thanks.
Well, in Pennsylvania, at Hershey, where I worked, we got that first day off.
Okay. Well, thank you for your testimony. My time has expired. I yield back.